Day 354 of the worldwide Megacrisis Hungerstrike. Whew. You can start to see a little bit of tiredness under my eyes. But 10 out of 10 spiritual. So I'm going to keep this one shorter than 20 minutes. This video. How am I doing? Feeling a little tired. I went to do this recording earlier today, but I had 2 meetings which were pretty interesting. And now I'm just lining things up to contact thousands of people to get them into this meeting so I can eat. I'm going to try and get all 3,600 of these blessings all at once so I can unlock this meal. And yeah, lots of progress. I just did a crash course in innovation economics in like 20 minutes. That would have taken weeks before. It's incredible what's happening. The time compression. So that's me. I'm very hungry. My mind is starting to fantasize about food, and it's getting to the next level of hunger here. So I'm focusing on it, despite a court date in 2 days and a whole bunch of other things happening to me. I distilled this process out, so everything's getting clearer, and clarity means wisdom. Often. So let's move on to the next part of the core of this update. I want to take a nap. I'm doing this right before I sleep because I'm on the edge of my energy right now. As you guys know, I break my days into 2. So emergency news worldwide. You guys, like I said yesterday, Claude Mythos is so powerful. They said it's smashed through all of these evaluation criteria. We don't even know how good it is anymore because we're not smart enough to make tests powerful enough to measure it. And true to the concern, today, Google said they stopped a mass hack opportunity through these 0-day exploits, massive, where they tried to bypass 2-factor authentication, which protects your bank accounts. They're trying to break into all these banks because these vulnerabilities are real, and they're getting worse. So hackers are now using shadow AI, they're called, to get into all these vulnerabilities. So you might wake up soon with no money in your bank account. It's extreme what's happening to us. It'll happen all at once. You're not going to have a time to react. It'll just happen all at once. So we need to get ahead of it now, you guys. Let's learn the core. Let's get this started. Join me. So, number 1 in the Fair World Spirit core is about time compression through clarity on ego wisdom. The problem, what do we call it? The Megacrisis. The solution, we call the 2 sacred sentences. And the implementation of that solution, we call flow, rules, and flocks. So we covered the time compression before, and this innovation research led to what I thought. They're missing a piece, and they're missing time compression. But we're not. Builds the new economy of flow state. Oh. But let's unpack not ego wisdom, but the Megacrisis. And then within that is the Metacrisis. And we covered agency, the decline in agency, the decline in meaning, and the decline of trust yesterday. So today we're going to go to the next part, which is coordination, which is another problem under culture, the Metacrisis. Because if you don't trust each other and everything feels meaningless and you don't feel like you have any autonomy or agency, you're not going to want to coordinate with anybody to build anything new or invent things or innovate. And that's the spice of life. It keeps things novel and fresh and surprising and life worth living. Not to get too unstable, but it balances out monotony and boredom. So in order to create stable emergences of newness, ideas, you need to coordinate resources. And that coordination requires communication. And if you don't understand each other, if you're not speaking the same language, if you're not using the same frameworks, and you don't even trust each other, then you can't, or even if you do trust each other, even if you trust each other and you're communicating, you don't understand each other, you're still not going to get anywhere. So once you do have agency and you feel empowered and you feel like it's meaningful and it belongs to you and your deeper self, and you feel like you trust the other person you're coordinating with, or the system you're coordinating with, then it's about what do the symbols mean that we're using? And the systems that we're using to track those symbols, so that if there's a huge amount of coordination between millions of people, it doesn't turn into chaos. And right now, those systems are breaking down globally because war and a whole bunch of other things. Ooh, my stomach is a little upset. So we have a new coordination system using these things called syllogisms. And they rotate meetings and resources and translate languages on 2 different levels. One is the normal formal level, we call it, where you go from Chinese to English to German. Those are formal languages, which is, we already have that, but it's not solving the problem. Underneath that, though, is an ideological level of translation called framework translation, where the symbols themselves, even if you can translate the symbol like dog into German, I don't know what German is called dogs, green, let's say green in English is vert in French. You can translate that formally, but the meanings might be different. Does green really mean green in English and French? And that gets a lot more complicated when it gets into religion, because when you're talking about spiritual concepts, they're really nebulous usually, and there's a lot of fighting over them, and that prevents coordination too, because it reduces the trust once you don't understand that person and you have stranger danger, right? So we've solved that, and it's incredible, and you can learn it if you want to come and join us. All right, that should increase coordination so we can get into flow states. And then the ideas will be miraculous, like spectacular, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. All right, so that's the core. So let's get on to the end of this update so I can take a nap. We want our personal, professional, and activist lives to happen all at once, in a harmony. We can bake our vegan cake and eat it too, which is why I'm gonna go take a nap right now, is because I work hard for like 8 hours straight, and then I take a nap for a couple hours, and then I wake up and I do it again. I feel great when I'm working. Except now, like I'm at the tail end of it. I need sleep. So this goes for all life areas: physical, mental, academic, spiritual, family, friends, intimacy, politics, finances, hygiene, and style and dream goals. And so for me, I'm going to go and take care of my physical life area, but I'm also asking for your help in my intimate life area to find my wife, the philosopher queen, the wise soul. The wifey slogan is, if she's too hardcore wise for everybody else, she's just right for who? She's just right for me. And if you're in the same boat and you're looking for somebody, we try to match you in this new meeting structure. Everybody brings one thing, low risk at first, and then we match everybody, and then you meet them and you see if you can get that value. And it's very simple compared to the machination that we call economics today. It's terrible and leaving people behind, and AI is leaving us behind. And, oh. So, all right. And I'm trying to get 108 people together. So there's a lot of potential to share. Even if it's small at first, the next meeting gets higher and higher as you build trust, because the coordination is better. And we coordinate these meetings in a very structured way, because with that much energy and that much sharing, it gets chaotic quick. So you have to have enough structure, general structure, to keep things wise and flowing, but not too much structure that it feels like it's pedantic and it's oppressive. You have freedom. It protects you on the universal, particular, and individual level. That's what a real God's government and true government, wise government does. I hope that makes you feel better. Okay. Stay blessed. Keep sublating. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.